Greetings, salutations. Hope everyone out there is staying safe, having a good time in this wonderful quarantine environment. Hope everyone's staying home that can, avoiding the virus. I had to brave the world today for the all-important Red Bull energy drink. That's right, this is brought to you by Red Bull. It gives you wings. Or, the next best thing, which is keeps you barely conscious as the universe bores you to fucking tears. But, I had to get my Red Bull. I had to get my caffeine fix. A lot of people, they drink coffee. I guess you can do that if you're, from the 17th century or whenever the hell coffee was popular. But not me. I drink Red Bull. Twice the price as Monster energy drink for, I don't know, a marginally, in my opinion, better taste. Although I still think it tastes like shampoo. But you know what? I kind of like that. That shampoo taste really kind of, I don't know. It does something. It's kind of magical. I went out today. I had to put on a face mask. I didn't have to, but I saw there was a face mask available. So I was like, I guess I should wear this face mask. I put it on. I'm like, I don't know if I want to wear this. Kind of looks stupid. My wife's like, what's really stupid is contracting the coronavirus. I'm like, yeah, that is stupid, but this looks stupid. So, you got to prioritize a little bit. Anyway, I am accepting donations via Super Chat, via STREAMLABS. The STREAMLABS link is the first in the description. As I caution you every single time I do this, if you're broke, keep your money, all right? You don't need to be giving that shit away to jack-offs like me. But if you're flush with cash or you feel like you can afford it, I do appreciate the donos. I also would like to push my book, The Douchebag Bible. That is on sale below as well. Still working on my other book. I know it's taken quite a bit longer, The Order of Chaos, for that to come out. But in the meantime, you could still buy copies of The Douchebag Bible. You can get regular, plain Jane copies with nothing done to them. That link is down below. There's also a special link if you want to get a signed, personalized edition. Personalized just means I draw stuff in it. You can make requests of me of what to draw. They won't, it says on the site that you can't, but if your request is simple, I will do it. But if you've got some shit like, recreate the fucking, Mona Lisa, but, have Jesus butt fucking Muhammad in the background and a UFO abducting fucking Lance Henriksen or some shit, I'm not going to do that. Okay? If you put if it's overly I'll give a little doodle, you want me to be like, okay, draw this thing or that thing, I can do that. But if you got if it takes a paragraph to describe what you want drawn, I'm not going to do it because it's just too much. It's too much fucking work, and I'm not that talented of a fucking artist, okay? I can doodle a little crazy face or something. But, if you keep the request simple, you can get that done. But if you don't, then you're just going to have to settle for whatever the fuck I want to draw. And sometimes it'll be in crayon. Sometimes it'll be colored pencil. Sometimes it'll be a marker drawing. Sometimes it'll just be drawn with a ballpoint pen. You just never know. Also, sometimes I'm feeling super artistic and I'll go really detailed with it. I mean, it'll still suck because I'm not that great of an artist, as I stated before. But, it'll be better than, sometimes I just doodle. I don't know. It just kind of depends on my mood. It's a luck of the draw kind of thing. But if that sounds interesting to you, you can do that. And I always personalize it with the person's name, hey, Michael, thanks for being a fan. Hope you enjoy the book. Here's a picture of some wacky bullshit that I drew that might be worth, 70 more cents when I finally fucking die of lung cancer in 3 years from now, But that's what's going on there. We always start these little live streams off with a COVID update. So let's do that. We got a little COVID update, baby. Let's get the camera right. Yeah, that's kind of right. Scoot over that way a little bit. It's a well-planned show. In fact, I don't really need this camera here. We don't need me on screen for this shit. Maybe bring myself back a little later if it's necessary. So right now, globally, got 2.2. You have to leave the request there. Okay. By the way, I should clarify how these Streamlabs and Super Chats work. Feel free to donate them at any time, but just know that I read them at the end. That's what happens. At the end of the stream, I read them all in one big, sort of burst. Right? That's how it works. Just so you know, just so we're clear. So 2.2 million confirmed cases going on across the globe. We've also got, of course, just in the USA, an astonishing, a tremendous 690, basically 700,000 fucking cases. By the way, I live in one of these little red zones here in the state of Louisiana. I'm in one of the reds, so I'm living currently in a hot spot of the coronavirus. And, when I went out today to go get my all-important Red Bull, I noticed that, people aren't really taking the quarantine orders too seriously around here. So that might be one of the reasons why we're a fucking red spot. Maybe they think it's like all a liberal conspiracy or something. Damn shit libs trying to trick us into thinking there's some kind of virus going on here. But I know the truth. They just trying to fucking take over this here country. Trump's going to stop them. But it's like Trump's on board with this shit, at least right now. He keeps talking about reopening the economy, whatever the fuck that means. But, for now, he's on board with the whole quarantine thing. So if it was all just a liberal conspiracy, why is he playing along with it, That's a question you might want to ask yourself. Now, as the title of the video might imply, we're going to be talking about Joe Biden in a minute here. But before we do that, I thought we might take a quick look at some more Corona shit. This is, you guys might have heard of this pastor, this preacher man over in Baton Rouge, the Red Stick, y'all. And he's been holding church services despite the stay-at-home order. And I guess he thinks that his congregates are protected by God or some such nonsense. But let's see what's going on with him. He's trying to start a hashtag right now.
www.ltcbr.
Oopsie doopsie. I think we gotta fucking go back a little bit. This is our friend here. This is he's trying to start the hashtag Pastor Spell Stimulus Challenge. Very popular so far. 146 thumbs up, 14,000 thumbs down, Doing pretty well at this point. Really kind of catching on, it seems.
Hashtag.
Nice wind guard on that. This guy fucking runs a giant church. Presumably there's a collection plate. Presumably people are putting money in that collection plate. Get yourself a fucking wind guard for your mic. Or here's a better idea. If you can't do that, shoot this indoors. Right? Like, if you're trying to get some viral shit going, I'd like to be able to hear you speak and not just... Okay? Okay.
Pastor Spell Stimulus Challenge. Free rules. Number 1, April the 19th, 2020. It begins. Rule.
That's the first rule. I don't think typically when a contest begins is a challenge. I don't think usually the date of the challenge beginning is typically one of the rules, but whatever.
Number 2, donate your stimulus money. Rule number 3, donate it to evangelists, North American evangelists who haven't had an offering in a month, missionaries who haven't had an offering in a month, music ministers who haven't had an offering in a month. I'm donating my entire stimulus, $1,200. My wife is donating her stimulus, $1,200. My son is donating his stimulus, $600. Hashtag Pastor Spell Stimulus Challenge. If you don't have a church, give through my website, www.ltcbr.com.
You getting that? So the money that so basically a guy who doesn't even believe the coronavirus is shit, right? Who takes it so lightly that he's continuing to hold services while it's going on, is telling you to take the money that the government is giving people to help them through hard times. And he's basically saying, give it to me and my fellow religious fucking hucksters because we're the ones in desperate need, right? Not you guys. The church. The fucking church needs it. God needs that money. Not the people who are, you know, starving. Not the people who don't know how they're going to pay their rent. Not the people who don't know how they're going to pay their car note, their medical bills, anything. Those people will be fine. They need to fucking give that money to the church, to the pastors, to the preachers, to the evangelicals, to the missionaries, to fucking the musical pastors. Yeah. Instead of using your check to benefit you and your family, be sure to fucking give it to some dude who strums on a guitar and caterwauls about Jesus. Yeah, that's gonna fucking catch on. Oh, and by the way, do I believe for a second that this guy took a penny of his own fucking check and gave it to anybody but himself? No, I do not. No, I fucking do not.
Tango Charlie Baton Rouge.com. I'm here on the Mississippi River. I'm here at Red Stick.
I wish you were under the Mississippi fucking river, you goddamn huckster piece of shit.
Baton Rouge. Hashtag Pastor Spell Stimulus Challenge.
Okay. Well, good for him, man. Good for him. What a great fucking idea. But, like I said, it's time to talk about something else. It's time to talk about our good friend, Joe Biden. And I thought I'd start it out by presenting you guys with a little video that I put together. You might wonder...
The way in which...
Shut up, Kyle. We're not ready for you yet. Might be wondering why I put Kyle Kalinske and Vosh in the thumbnail of this video, right? Well, the reason why is because I have prepared a little presentation where I have created a faux debate between the two of them because I watched both of their videos on a specific subject, and they made it was almost like they were arguing with each other's points. So I think that I kind of put it together. I mean, obviously it doesn't completely fit, but you'll get the gist. So let's take a look at that. It's about 7 minutes long. I'm just going to shut up and play it because I spent, I didn't spend too long making it, but spent about half an hour to an hour today putting this together. So let's watch it together.
The way in which Bernie is doing this transition to supporting Biden, it's incredibly irresponsible because, as I described in a previous segment, here's what he could have done, guys. He could have, in all these meetings with Biden, no doubt he's been having a lot of them, he could have said, Joe, listen, man, we're friends. By the way, I think they are genuine friends. We're friends, but we do have big disagreements politically. I made a list of 10 executive orders that I think you can do that are very, very strong progressive executive orders, but I think you can do them. And even though we have some big disagreements, these ones will be all right. 10 amazing executive orders, put them on Biden's desk and say, listen, man, if you commit to doing all these within the first 100 days, you have my support. And I'll do everything I can to help you get elected. If you say you don't want to do them, good luck in November. I'm going to have to walk away.
Why would he do that? You realize that if Bernie withheld his appraisal and tried to threaten or blackmail the DNC with his populist voter base, that we would have been lambasted for allowing Trump to win again?
You're gonna do that anyway.
No,
Vosh.
they aren't going to do the same again. No.
Anyway.
This is the same dumb fuck lie I get here repeated by tankies over and over and over again. That there's no difference whatsoever in what the media reception is going to be between us actually voting for Biden losing anyway and us actively protesting against Biden and Trump winning anyway. There is a huge difference in the extent to which our media message is getting controlled in those two different scenarios. Okay, it's so what you're arguing essentially is like the media is going to shit talk us no matter what. We might as well do every dumb fuck bad PR thing possible. No, one of the reasons why Bernie Sanders was able to get the movement that he did is because he was able to leverage the media far more effectively than leftist movements have in the past. Bernie did far fucking better than Black Lives Matter did. Bernie did far because he's nice. Bernie did far better than Occupy Wall Street did. Bernie did better than fucking Frederick Douglass did. Bernie did better than any other meaningful leftist movement in the past because he was willing to acknowledge that you have to move within the system to get anything even approximating a decent shot at the media.
The only move you have is to badger this movement of people into supporting Biden without really, bringing them over with solid reasons. So that's why you're going to have some people in the movement go, nah, I'm good. Like me. I'm not going to do it. Because Bernie, it was never about you. There was a time when Bernie knew this. It used to be, not me, us. Now it's not us, him. Him meaning Biden.
Listen, right now we have a choice between Trump and Biden. Those are the only two people who are capable of taking the Oval Office in 2021. We have to make a choice as to who goes there. Do you believe that both of them are equally capable of leading the nation with our interests in mind? With knowing that Biden is markedly superior than Trump in a number of positions?
No.
Okay, so since I am presented two options, and one of them is better than the other, I take the preferable one. I recognize that the lesser of two evil... Well, no, it's not a third option. The third option isn't actually a third option at all. It's a secondary to whatever the first two options are. I believe in acting outside of the system to effect positive change, even if I do vote for Biden. So I can vote for Biden and then say, hey, we probably shouldn't capitulate to the system forever. Let's try a grassroots populist movement to get another powerful lefty involved in 2024.
We just did that. We just fucking did that.
And we got closer than we've ever gotten in the history of the United States to having any kind of real socialist
Bernie
agenda
immediately
implemented.
fucking
So it's not about you, Bernie. So if somebody supported your movement because they support Medicare for all, you can't get mad at them when they're not going to go vote for Biden because Biden doesn't support Medicare for all. You see what I'm saying? Like, there are issues that are unique to Bernie that people were like, I love that. I'm in. And then you can't say it's irresponsible when the whole reason they supported you was something that Biden is pledging not to do. That's not irresponsible. That's very straightforward. That's very understandable. That's very rational for them to say, sorry, I'm not going to partake in it. So you're just not going to get people by saying, oh, this guy's not as bad. Wow.
We need to fight for every benefit we can get. Every single one. Even if it's Biden. Even if it sucks, even if it means that we have to get our hands dirty by voting for somebody who voted for the Iraq War, even if it means we have to compromise our cool fucking Chapo Trap House E-cred by dirtying our hands with politics that aren't as pure as Bernie's, even then, we still work. And I believe all of this because I'm a fucking leftist, because I signed up for my political positions because I believe unrelentingly in pushing for egalitarianism and the emancipation of the oppressed, even if that means doing things that don't feel that great for me personally. That's why I do the things I do. It has nothing to do with me being a fucking radlib or being a weak leftist.
I'm open to, if people want to make reasonable arguments when it comes to Biden, I'm listening. I hear you. Do I think Joe Biden is definitely better when it comes to the courts? No question. I'd take a centrist on the court over a far-right person any day of the week. Do I think Joe Biden is better when it comes to climate change? Yes. There are some issues where Biden is clearly better. We can have those conversations. But if you're going to bring people in, you're going to bring people in like that, being honest and open. You're not going to bring people in with the badgering and the looking down at them and insulting them and shaming them and calling them irresponsible when Brianna put aside a year of her life to do absolutely everything she possibly could to get Bernie elected. Now, let me tell you something. Bernie Sanders, what did he say when Elizabeth Warren was not endorsing him immediately after she dropped out? What did Bernie say? Hey guys, come on now. Everybody relax. Let's give her some space. Let's give her some time to think. At some point, she'll make her mind up, and we have to respect the decision. You couldn't say the same thing for somebody who put everything on the line for you, Bernie? Shame on you, man.
Do you think there might be a reason the 100-year-old incredibly long-standing maverick and independent senator who's had decades of experience navigating politics when the world was against him might have a decent idea on how to conduct optics concerning a leftist campaign? Or do you think this is one of the things that really bugs me? All these people who are like, yeah, Bernie's a king, and then Bernie drops out, endorses Biden. All of them are like, fuck Bernie. I know more than he does about how to run.
No. I'm not like fuck Bernie, man.
There are a lot of fucking people who are like that, and they're really pissing me off, I gotta say.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay. So, that's something I put together a little bit earlier today because I'd watched their two videos. And, both people I watch, which is pretty rare for me because I don't really watch a lot of YouTubers, I'll be honest with you. Both people who I've heard some interesting thoughts and perspectives for, but they could not be further apart on this issue. So it kind of begs the question, where am I at on all this, You're watching my stream. I presume you want me to fucking take a definitive stand like, here's where I stand. Here's who I side with. And I've seen the chat, Kyle's wrong. Vosh is wrong. The people fucking dithering back and forth. No, this position's correct. No, this position's correct. And it kind of just, it's just kind of cements for me the fact that when we had Bernie, we on the left, I'm speaking to the leftists in the audience here. I know that not everyone that watches me is a fucking leftist. That's fine. I think you could still get something out of hearing this discourse. But the left is fractured right now because we're basically a rudderless ship. We had Bernie. He was our guiding star. We knew what we had to do. We got to go forth and elect Bernie Sanders. That's the fucking plan. But that plan failed. And now we're all like, what's the new plan? And there's not agreement. So first of all, I got to say, this debate, as it stands now, could do with a lot more fucking nuance. Just saying. This whole, I don't know why so many people feel like they need to decide this right now. Because we got till November to figure this shit out. Why can't there be a robust argument? I don't know why there's already these two very regimented camps of here's where we stand. Well, fuck you. We're over here. Because there's a real question here. And it's, there's a paradigm that exists in politics right now in America. The Overton window is so far to the right and has been for so long that we're basically trying to choose, but the paradigm right now is the Democrats are the corporatist center-right party, and the Republicans are the corporatist far-right party, and that's our political fucking discussion in America. And I think a lot of people, when they're being told, we got to vote for Biden, they're hearing that status quo is okay. We got to... Let's just keep going with that. Because how long have we done this whole lesser of two evils game? How long have we done it? How many times has it been all right, well, this isn't what I really want, but I'll vote for that because maybe we'll get some marginal progress. But on the other hand, you could make the argument that to some extent, that strategy has worked. When I was a kid, gay people couldn't get married. gay people couldn't serve in the military. During my lifetime, it went from no gays in the military to, okay, you can be gay in the military, but you can't tell nobody, to, okay, gays can be in the military. And it went from, gay people can't get married to maybe we can give gay people civil unions to, okay, gay people can get married. It went from, no one can smoke marijuana to, okay, maybe marijuana is decriminalized. Maybe you can have medicinal marijuana. Maybe you can maybe recreational marijuana is actually okay. That hasn't happened nationally yet, but there's 11 states now where you can smoke weed legally just for recreation. And you could argue that came about incrementally through this system of gradual change. So before we get too deep into this debate, now I do want to get, it might seem uninteresting at first, the fact that I'm not strongly decided on this as of yet, but really it's going to be fun because it means that we get to really do a deep dive into both of these arguments and, figure out not necessarily just which one is the best, but figure out where each of them could go wrong. Because there's gigantic flaws with both arguments. And we're basically at this point, our good option is gone. Our okay, elect Bernie Sanders. That's our mission. That's been taken away. So now it's okay, which of these two shitty options do we want to fucking, decide upon? Which of these two shitty options is the least shitty? So it's kind of ironic because even if you have, even if you're I'm not voting because it's I don't want to pick the lesser of two evils. Well, you already have picked what you think is the lesser of two evils between two shitty strategies forward. But this might be a moot. Before we get too far into it, let's talk about how this might be just a moot point because Biden is a fucking disaster. I want to show you a clip right now of Joe Biden. This is a fun clip. You're going to enjoy yourselves a lot with this. Let's just go ahead and play this really quick before we move on too much. But after we do this, we're going to take a deep dive into both Vosh's and Kyle's arguments there. So this is 10 consecutive fucking seconds of Joe Biden not being able to speak a fucking sentence, all right? Not being able to speak a fucking sentence.
We gotta, it's just, but you gotta, we gotta reassure, look, here, my message to everybody I talk to, we gotta.
That was it. 10 seconds. A full 10 seconds. This motherfucker cannot get out one single thought. I want you to just fucking appreciate the length of time that he could not get a thought out. Not a single fucking solitary coherent word. Set timer for 10 seconds. All right, that was it. That's 10 seconds filled with silence. That's how bad this fucker is. He went that duration of time just, we gotta, look, what I always say, come on. This might be a moot point. There's a really, really, really good chance that this motherfucker just plain and simple cannot beat Trump. Cannot beat him. Just isn't up to the fucking task. So this whole debate about what the left should do might be a completely moot point that we maybe shouldn't devote the level of energy into that we are at this point. But I guess we got to have the argument. We got to have the discussion. So let's look at the two fucking basic strategies that we can adopt at this point. Now, of course, are these the only two strategies possible? No. Okay? There's other options. We can discuss those as well. But these are the two main camps that I'm seeing emerge in the left right now. Number one, and this is the Kyle Kalinske fucking argument. Don't vote for Biden. And when Biden loses, the Democratic establishment hopefully wakes up to the fact that they cannot win without the support of the left, and they begin to make overtures towards us. They begin to capitulate to our ideas, and they throw us a fucking bone or two. All right, you can have universal health care if you'll give us power. Okay, we will. Fair enough. Fair exchange. Idea number two, Vosh's idea, but not exclusively Vosh's idea, nor is the other one exclusively Kyle's. They're just the two people that I thought kind of, in my world, symbolize these positions pretty well. Vote for Biden because he is closer to our ideals than Trump. He will make better court appointments. He will do more on climate change. In the meantime, we keep fighting to push Democrats to the left. Those are the two paths. All right? Now, I think the merits of those paths, what few there are, speak for themselves. I think we all understand the reasons to do those things. It's inherent in the arguments themselves. So let's talk about how these could go wrong. Let's really take a fucking look and assess, what are the fucking downsides of these two strategies? So Kyle's strategy, what could go wrong? So question number one, what if Biden wins? What if the left says, fuck you, we don't support you, we're withholding our support, you can't fucking win without us, and then he does. Now I know, given the clip I just showed you guys, maybe that sounds fucking ridiculous. But you know what? Biden winning this primary sounded fucking ridiculous to me at one point. When Biden got in this race, I was like, he ain't got no chance. If it's any of the corporate centritist stooges, centritist, cool word, TJ. If it's any of the corporate fucking neoliberal fucking stooge candidates, it's going to be fucking Buttigieg, or it's going to be Kamala Harris, or it's going to be one of those. That's what I thought. I thought Biden, he can't even talk. He'll sink like a goddamn stone. But here we are, right? A lot of people, very few people thought Trump had a chance. I knew he had a chance. But conventional wisdom says, Trump, he's a joke. He's a fucking joke. Hell, Hillary's camp, when he was in the primaries, helped Trump out because they thought he's the easy target. They're like, we don't want to go up against Ted Cruz or something. We want to go up against Trump because he's the easy guy. So this idea that we can know for sure, everything in my head is telling me Biden's got no chance. But this is America. This is the country where a lot of wacky goddamn shit happens. So what if the left is like, fuck you, Biden. You don't get our help. And then he wins anyway. Doesn't that just validate their dismissal of us and our ideas to the point where it's like, yeah, we never even needed them. Fuck them. Let them be non-voters like half of America. So second problem, what if the Democratic establishment just doesn't care about winning? What if they just don't even give a fuck? What if, because think about it from their position. The presidency. They know they're going to get the presidency at some point anyway. You think they're starving for it right now in this very moment? Holy shit, we need the presidency bad, guys. You have any idea how much money they raise ranting and raving against Trump all day, doing their symbolic gesture bullshit against Trump? We're the resistance. Fuck you, Trump. How much money do they raise being the opposition party? Tons. Metric fuck tons of money. Meanwhile, what is Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders wants to, or like a Bernie Sanders-esque candidate, whether it's Bernie Sanders or someone else on the left, he totally wants to change the way the Democratic Party does business. He wants them to stop taking money from giant corporations. So if you're the Democrat, if you're the DNC, which option is, and all you want is that money, which option is less appealing to you? Yeah, we could win the presidency, but we'd have to stop taking all this corporate money. We kind of like that corporate money. Or you get to keep it. You get to keep making that corporate money, but you just don't get the presidency, which eventually you're going to get anyway, because America swings back and forth like a pendulum. So eventually, just by happenstance, your fucking bland, uninspiring piece of shit candidate is going to beat the right's bland, uninspiring piece of shit candidate, and you'll have the presidency again. So why would they be desperate to win in this circumstance? Do they really want it? Now, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe the fucking sheer prestige of it, and we know these people, they love money, but we know they also love power, so they could very well want the presidency. But I don't know. I don't know how much of a premium the DNC is placing on that. It could be possible they don't even give a shit. It could be possible that they're more like, yeah, I think we actually kind of want Trump to win. Because, to some extent, we all recognize that they are fake opposition, right? Like, they don't do effective tactics against Trump. They do bullshit symbolic tactics. We're going to impeach you, even though we know it has no chance of passing in the Senate. We're still going to do it. We're going to impeach you good, buddy. We're going to spank your naughty little butt. So third problem, what if the Democratic establishment's takeaway, like, let's say that Biden loses, that goes according to plan, and the DNC really does want the presidency bad. So that goes according to plan. But what if at that point, the dumb fuck dimwit DNC looks around and instead of being like, man, we better court these fucking leftists, what if their solution is instead, man, I guess we just didn't fight hard enough to get the center, huh, guys? I guess we didn't, convert enough Republicans over to us. What if that's their takeaway? Because, so far, their track record of learning their lesson, not too fucking impressive, guys. Doesn't really seem like shit sinks in for them. Because they lost in 2016. We know that they lost by razor slim margins in states like Michigan, right? But, they don't look at that and say, hey, maybe we could have won Michigan if we'd done more to appeal to the fucking, to the core base, the left-leaning base of the Democrat Party. It never even crosses their mind. They were just like, Russia, sexism, Trump cheated somehow. They didn't learn no fucking lesson. They didn't fucking move left. I mean, for me, I take it back. For like a split second at the beginning of the primary race, a lot of the candidates talk some left shit. But as that primary went on, all of them moved to the right. Like Pete Buttigieg is like, I'm all in on Medicare for all. Then the insurance industry is like, here's some money. And he's like, Medicare for all is kind of like communism, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Right? Am I right? We need a fucking more moderate plan. So maybe they virtue signaled to the left for 5 minutes. But as soon as that corporate money started flowing in, all that leftist rhetoric went by the wayside, and they were right back to the center. And when I talk about the center, I mean the fake center of American politics, which are so skewed right that basically they're just moderate right-wingers, by any other fucking reasonable country's fucking standard. So what about the alternative strategy? What about the one Vosh laid out? So here's some problems with that. What if Biden is no better than Trump? Right? We don't know what the fuck, we know he tried to cut Social Security and Medicare a shit ton of times. What if he's no better? What if he's literally no better than Trump? What if he gets in there, he gets power, he just does whatever the fuck he wants, and it turns out that he's way more right-wing than any of us fucking even suspected, even looking at his fucking record? You know? What if he is way more of a hawk than anybody thought he was? You know, what if he is super regressive on some of these fucking issues? What if he gets into a national emergency type of situation and he decides the solution is we need to cut Medicare, we need to do a freeze on government spending like he proposed 1 million times in the past? What if he's actually more of a detriment than Trump? Or maybe his viewpoints aren't quite as bad as Trump's are, but maybe just through his sheer competency. I know it's kind of ridiculous to think of him as competent when he can't even get through a fucking sentence, but he does, I mean, at the end of the day, have a lot more experience governing than Trump did. Maybe he fucking plays the system a little better. Maybe his regressive bullshit policies actually get through. I don't know. So here's another problem. I think this is far more likely, but I do want to put a caveat on that last talking point. I do think Biden is probably not as bad as Trump. I think it's a given that he's going to be better on a lot of things. But, I don't know for sure. So here's a more realistic complaint. What if the popular leftist movement that has sprung up around Bernie Sanders, this grassroots movement that has all this energy, all this momentum, what if that just totally dissipates under a Biden presidency the way it did under an Obama presidency? Because we had a popular kind of leftist movement going on under the Bush administration. It wasn't as leftist as the movement that happened under Bernie Sanders, but there was a huge anti-war movement in this country. There was a lot of criticism of Bush's wars, and that was a leftist movement that happened in this country very organically. Now, there was also right-wingers against the war. I don't want to frame it like only the left ever had any sort of anti-war kind of shit. But by and large, it was the left that was against the war. It was the right that was for it. So, once they got Obama, didn't seem to matter that Obama didn't keep any of his promises. Didn't seem to matter that Obama backed down on all of the promises he made on the campaign trail. Didn't seem to matter that he backed down on the public option. Didn't seem to matter that he filled his cabinet with lobbyists. Didn't seem to matter that he did not withdraw from Iraq on the timetable that he stated he would. And in fact, we're still in Iraq. We're still in Afghanistan. The wars he said he would end, he didn't end. Didn't seem to matter that he didn't close Gitmo. Didn't seem to matter that he went back on 1,001 Obama promises. He even, Obama ran so far to the left, he was even talking nuclear disarmament on the fucking campaign trail. Maybe we should fucking talk about getting rid of these nukes. He ran that far to the left. And then he governed like a neoliberal, centrist, moderate right-winger. And what did the left do? Did they hold him accountable? Nope. They went to fucking sleep. They went right the fuck to sleep. They didn't say shit. They didn't do shit. They didn't hold his feet to the fire in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, among many Democrats to this day, he's a venerated figure who's basically worshipped, adored, and his return is longed for like it'd be the return of Jesus. That's where Obama's at. So I'd be worried that under a Biden administration, all these Democrats who are kind of incensed by Trump and his rhetoric and the stuff that he goes out and does, his policies, his flirtations with sort of fascist ideology and strongman kind of bullshit. I think that kind of energizes the left in a way that if Biden's president, all of them are just gonna be like, good enough. So that's a serious concern to me. Another problem, and I think this is probably the biggest problem that people have with what Vosh is saying, is what fucking bargaining chip do we have at that point to move the party left? We already gave them what they want. Here, neoliberal centrist, take power. Okay. So now that you got power, would you mind moving to the left? It's like, no, bitch. You just gave me power. Why would I do what you say? I don't need you anymore. You just gave me 4 years on the throne. Maybe I'll come back with some promises in 4 years so you reelect me. That'll be what I'll do for you. How about that? Like, what bargaining chip do the American people have against a president once they're president? I mean, I don't know what that might be. Do you? So at the end of the day, both these strategies suck. But they're probably the best ones we got. So, just pick whichever the worst one. I mean, pick whichever one you think is the least worst. You still have to make a lesser of two evil choice. You still have to go, all right, which of these two shitty fucking strategies do I think is best? Because, unless some brilliant fucking political genius comes up with a third strategy, like, hey guys, I came up with a viable third path. Unless that happens, we're stuck with these two shitty options and maybe a few other options that I consider even shittier, but maybe you can make a case for them. I don't know. That's up to you. Maybe you're the brilliant political mind that I referenced a moment ago. So here's the things I would say. Regardless of which of those two paths you choose, here's the things I think we should all be behind, in my opinion. So number one, show up to vote. Even if you're not planning on voting for Biden, even if you're like, I'm going to vote for, the Green Party or whatever the fuck, you should still show up to vote. One, because if you don't even show up, they're not going to get the message that you showed up to protest Biden. They're not going to get the message that, like, I withheld my vote because I was unsatisfied with Biden. If you show up and cast a protest vote for someone else, they maybe get the message a little bit more clearly. But more important than that, the presidency is not like the only thing we're voting on, okay? There's other votes going on. There's other candidates you can vote for. There's like Senate races and House races, and there's all kinds of other shit, okay? There's probably some local maybe ballot initiatives and things. Study what's going to be on your ballot in your state. If whatever state you're in, study that fucking ballot. Do your due diligence. Figure out everything you're going to vote for. Write down the ticket. Don't show up in the voting booth and be like, I only showed up to vote for president and I don't know what any of this other shit is. Study that ticket and vote. Because look, the presidency is not that's not the only seat of power. The president is not a fucking dictator that just makes pronouncements down to us and America just obeys. The president is a pretty powerful position, and, there are executive orders and stuff like that, but they're not the be-all, end-all of everything that's going on in politics. So study your local races, see what issues are up, and make an informed decision based on your values. Hold the president accountable. And not in a tribalistic way. Don't be a team player on this shit. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's somehow somebody else, like Biden has a last-minute replacement or something. Whoever's president, hold that person accountable to the greatest degree that you possibly fucking can. Whatever they promised on the campaign trail, hold their feet to the fire. And like I said, you don't have a lot of power in that situation, but still, make your voice heard. And keep pushing for the agenda that you believe in. Don't fucking get complacent just because you've got a neoliberal, centrist fucking person in office and be like, well, good enough. I'm just going to fucking put a pin in all these other things I want. No. Keep talking about workers' rights. Keep talking about a universal health care system. Keep talking about climate change and a new green infrastructure. Keep talking about reforming the justice system. Keep talking about everything you already talk about. And we need to work to primary these bad Democrats, these fucking corrupt Democrats that take fucking corporate money and make decisions based on that fucking money. Get those fuckers out of there to the greatest extent you possibly can. If there's someone running in your area that's running on, you know, the money that comes from small dollar donations, and they have a fucking progressive agenda that you can get behind, support that candidate. Do what you can to get that person elected. So we need, you know, if you're not going to, we can't win, even if we got like a Bernie Sanders in the presidency, if we got a bunch of corporate stooges that fill the ranks of the Democratic Party, that as all the rank and file Democrats are just still taking that fucking dirty money and giving favors in exchange for it, you're still not going to get a lot done. So you got to primary those fuckers. You got to get them out of there. I think we should start with Nancy fucking Pelosi. She's got a primary challenger right now, Sahid Buttar. That's a Democratic Socialist, Social Democrat, whatever the fucking terminology you want to use. They kind of are interchangeable in American politics. Whatever, that's a whole other discussion. But, you know, is he going to win? Probably not. But if you're in the San Francisco area, support that motherfucker. Send some money his way. Vote for him. Because we need that bitch out. She's no good. And keep talking to people. And don't be intimidated into not saying what you really think in a conversation. Don't be intimidated by someone who's going to throw a hissy fit if you disagree with them. Go ahead and disagree. Forcefully. Strongly. Make your fucking argument. Stand your ground. Because I believe the most fucking effective thing that anybody can do to change this country is just to change even one person's mind. Because if we all do it, then a bunch of minds are changed. Then maybe they go do it. And so on and so forth. It has a ripple effect. But you can't have that ripple effect if every time someone says some stupid, regressive, moronic bullshit, you just are mum because you don't want to offend them. I know it happens because it's happened to me. I have friends, family members, relatives, whatever the fuck, talk a bunch of dumb bullshit, and then I don't know if I should say anything because, you know, that's their beliefs. Well, that's over. Tell them when they're wrong. Stand up to them. You can do it politely. You can couch it in a nice way, but let them know you don't agree. You're not on their side. So I do want to get to some stuff about the left media, the alt media that kind of exists here in this YouTube space. You know, people like Kyle Kalinske and, you know, Sam Cedar and David Pakman and so on and so forth. These voices of the left that kind of have their own news channels here on YouTube or elsewhere. And, you know, because I have some critiques. I want to tell you my critiques because I promised in a previous video when I was talking about this that I was going to get more in depth on that. I do want to remind you that Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. You can feel free to send those in at any time. They will be read at the end of this video, but that's no reason not to send them in right now or whenever you want. So let's talk about the new media. The left new media, the Kyle Kalinskes, the David Pakmans, the Sam Cedars, maybe someone like Vosh, although I think he's kind of different. He's not really presenting himself as like a news channel or whatever, but, you know, the Jimmy Dores, there's tons of them out there at this point. I have criticisms, not necessarily of any of those channels specifically, but in general, what they're doing. So what I think the biggest problem I have right now is there's too many commentators. There's not enough journalists because that means that they don't really break stories often. You know, you don't turn into Kyle Kalinski's show Secular Talk or something to hear the latest breaking news. Like, oh, we're breaking this story here. It's always just them taking stuff that they got from the old media, you know, the Associated Press or the Washington Post or the New York Times or whatever, Time Magazine. They take those stories, put their own spin on it, and deliver that message. And that's valuable. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it's exclusively that, like, you're still essentially letting the old media dinosaurs control the fucking narrative at that point, right? You know, they still get to decide what the news is. All that the leftists on YouTube can do is react to it. put their own spin on it, you know? And it's because they don't have investigative journalists out there. They're not putting feelers out there looking for their own stories to break. They're just, hey, Associated Press, vomit in my mouth. Now I'll vomit it back into these people's mouths. Bleh. With a different spin. Ooh, I put a different spin on it. So now it's different. This is the new media. It's basically just the old media with a different fucking set of clothes on, right? And, you know, a lot of this has to do with these people don't have the money, the resources, the infrastructure to actually go out there, put feelers out, find stories, and break them. They just don't have the fucking resources to do it. Which brings me to some of the solutions to these problems I just identified. Number one, all these people need to be greedier. Not in a personal way, not like I need to be richer, but in a, hey, you need to fucking fund our operations a little more. You need to be greedier with an eye towards expansion. Like, all these people should have staff and researchers and people going out there and finding fucking stories and finding facts. And there should be an interactive element with the audience. Like, you know, hey, if anyone out there in this audience is aware of something that's going on in this country right now that's fucked up or that's newsworthy, that's not being talked about by the press, bring that shit to me. I can get one of my journalists on it. They can investigate it. They can research it. And maybe we can break a fucking story right here on this fucking channel. But that's not happening right now because they don't have the resources. And I think another problem is that right now YouTube is algorithmically suppressing these channels. You know, there was a time when the independent news channels on YouTube were eating the mainstream news channels' lunch on the platform. But the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the fucking Fox Newses of the world realized they were getting their asses handed to them on this platform. And what do? They fucking started printing all these stories about YouTube is full of hate speech. YouTube is full of Nazis. YouTube is full of these dangerous ideas. They spooked all of the advertisers away from Google. And then Google went to the old media like, oh, please stop printing these stories about us. And they're like, all right, what are you going to give us? And now all of a sudden CNN's views, through the fucking roof. Why? Because YouTube learned to push that shit. Because as long as YouTube pushes CNN, pushes MSNBC, pushes the bullshit, they don't print those stories no more about how YouTube's bad. YouTube's it's an evil company with a nefarious agenda full of all kinds of extremist radicals. They don't print those stories anymore. Why? Because now they're getting real good treatment from YouTube and Google. So you're systemically, all these channels I'm talking about are fighting against that. So I understand that it's pretty hard in that kind of atmosphere, that kind of climate, to mount sort of a successful, sort of alternative to the mainstream media. But that's why they need popular funding from the people. The same way Bernie Sanders' campaign was funded by the people, these new media sort of left-leaning organizations, they need to fucking generate that same kind of funding with an eye towards constant expansion of the properties that they're making. And they need to start realizing YouTube is not going to push you out there. So you need to take a page out of the Ben Shapiro playbook and start pumping your own money. Start pumping some serious money into putting your fucking shit out there in front of new eyeballs. Because do you think Ben Shapiro is organically popular? Do you think a bunch of people are just like, you know what I could do with right about now? A nasally little whining bitch. No. Hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars were pumped into putting Ben Shapiro's show out there in Facebook ads and elsewhere, to make sure that he was in front of as many fucking eyeballs as possible so that he could be the mouthpiece of a fucking agenda that the moneyed interests are all in favor of. So if the fucking corporations and the moneyed interests and the capitalist fucking, machinery is going to have their little voices out there, they're going to fucking prop up their champions with money, then the people need to do the same fucking thing. They need to pump money into any channel that takes this kind of advice and starts looking very seriously at expanding and breaking stories, not just regurgitating information from the old media. I also think it would benefit these channels. Look, I know that there's plenty of ideological disagreement. You know, Sam Cedar doesn't have the exact same point of view as Kyle Kulinski. Kyle Kulinski doesn't have the exact same point of view as Jimmy Dore. And so on and so forth down the line. These people are not all in 100% universal agreement with one another. But I think it would benefit them tremendously, if they joined together in some sort of loose affiliation with one another. Like, I was watching this YouTube video the other day about oranges. Yeah, it's quarantine time. What the fuck better do you got to do? I was watching a video about fucking oranges. And there was a time when all the orange growers in California were like, holy shit, we have got too many oranges. What are we going to do with all this? They had this crazy surplus of oranges. They had to figure out how to get people to fucking consume more oranges. So they hired a marketing guy. I forget his name, but he said, let's make orange juice a thing. Because prior to that, it hadn't been. No one wanted orange juice. People thought it was fucking gross. It failed. Like in taste tests, people were like, yeah, orange juice sucks. But they put some marketing behind orange juice. And the first thing he did when he went in to talk to these orange farmers was he said, look, it's going to be a lot easier to promote your product if you guys all join together in some sort of loose affiliation. And they did. And they called it Sunkissed. You might have fucking heard of it. So they still were independent farms, making their independent profits, selling their products independently. But when it came to marketing themselves, they were in an affiliated group called Sunkissed. I think that these YouTube channels that I'm speaking of right now would be wise to take a page out of that playbook and get some sort of loose fucking affiliation together. They could still maintain the independence of their content, the independence of their point of view, but when it comes to promoting themselves, maybe they should join together and fucking push all of themselves collectively as, hey, we're the fucking new media. Stop listening to that shit on CNN. Stop listening to that shit on MSNBC. You can't trust those fuckers. They're not looking out for your best interest. They're funded by fucking corporate interests. They're funded by ad dollars. We're not. We're funded by the fucking people. And it's the people that we serve. Maybe this is a pipe dream. You could say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So that concludes my main rant for today, but I do have a few little side rants that I'd like to get into before we get into the donations, the Streamlabs, the Super Chats, all that stuff. Once again, Streamlabs down below. Donate there. So let's look at a few little brief kind of stories here and just have some little reactive shit. So the first story I want to cover is Land O'Lakes quietly removes native woman from packaging. It's kind of weird because this is the brand of butter that I typically buy. I haven't been getting it necessarily lately because, there's shortages of certain products and stuff. But typically, this is what I've bought when I need butter. And believe me, I use a lot of butter. I am a passionate cook, an amateur chef. And, so I cook with a lot of butter. I am a firm believer in the idea that fat equals flavor. I think it's the best medium to transfer seasoning, the flavors of seasonings and other things to the human palate. So I cook with a lot of fucking butter. I love butter. And this is my butter. It's my goddamn butter. They took away my little Indian girl. What the fuck? She's how I knew. Because I had memories from childhood of my mom buying the fucking butter with the Indian on it. And now she's gone? Just quietly fucking dragged away in the night? What the hell? All right, in all fucking fairness, I don't really care. Okay? I don't really give a shit. I don't care what the fuck the packaging really looks like. I guess there is kind of a little nostalgia of like, oh, the butter with the Indian on it. But I really don't care. But at the same time, I really don't get it either. Like, is this offensive somehow? Like, the very presence of this, Native American girl on the butter was like, uh-oh, can't have that because that's, like, what is that? Is that racist somehow? Like, could someone explain to me the racism of the Indian on the butter? Native American, native person, whatever the fuck you want to say? Well, whatever. Doesn't really matter. It's just a fucking package of butter, but very strange. Didn't really understand the need for that. So I did want to play this video here. This is a real brief video of a Nazi getting punched in the face. Boom. See it again real quick. Ah! I can understand why people enjoy this. And I've seen people, I saw a bunch of people like, yeah, get him, get that fucking Nazi. Maybe I'm just too much of a fucking softie. I don't know. But I just don't like violence, man. I mean, I like it in a fucking fantasy setting. Like, I'm watching a movie, I want to see some violence. Or if someone's like starting shit in a way like they're out there doing violence and then violence is visited upon them as a reprisal, like, I can get that. But I don't get the, I get it. If some dude's walking around wearing a fucking swastika armband, you got to realize there's a pretty good chance you're going to get punched in the fucking face by somebody at some point. You do kind of accept the risk of that fucking behavior. Or at least you got to kind of, like, any reasonable person, I think, in that instance would. Right? But at the same time, I'm against speech being met with violence. Just universally, no matter what the fucking circumstance. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I'm the one with my head on backwards, but I just don't like it. I don't like when a dude is like putting his hand up like, whoa, guy, don't hit me, and then he gets punched in the face. Even if he's a fucking Nazi. I'm not down with it. That being said, it is kind of fun to watch. So maybe some part of me is down with it. So the last thing I wanted to look at was this video has been circulating around, not super far and wide, but people have been bringing it to my attention all over the place. So I feel like I have to acknowledge it. This is a video someone clipped out of one of my old videos from 2013, and they called it "The Amazing Atheist Predicts Trump Presidency."
You know how Republicans kind of keep voting in like dumber and dumber candidates? Like, remember back when George W. Bush was the dumbest fucking politician you'd ever seen on the national level? Like, you never fucking imagined there could be a candidate this fucking stupid. And then he won. And you're like, holy fucking shit, is the Republican Party really this fucking stupid now? And yes, they were. In fact, they proved they were even stupider than that, because then, after Bush had served 2 terms, Sarah Palin was the VP nominee for John McCain's campaign, and she was beloved, and she made George W. Bush look like a PhD in theoretical fucking physics, because she was so fucking stupid. So I'm thinking eventually they're just going to have a candidate that's almost completely brain dead. It's going to be like a reality show star level of intellect here. Like, pick a random cast member off the Jersey Shore or some show like that and just fucking put him on the national stage and, yeah, you're running for president now. Like, just imagine some guy like, Yeah, I'm Tony. Yeah, I'm Tony. They call me Tone because if you look closely, I actually am pretty toned, you know? And everything I learned working at my father's pizza place. And I'm going to apply that to America, you know? Because this is the greatest fucking country on earth.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I was that far off, you know? It even kind of sounded like Trump, you know? The stuff he was saying, too. I'm fucking Tony. I'm fucking Trump, bitch. You know, I do what I want. Kick them liberals in the fucking dick, eh? Oh, man. I hate it when I'm right. I fucking hate it when I'm right. Yeah. Going from fresh-faced young TJ to old-faced like, back in bad day, I predicted Donald Trump. When I was but a wee lad, I knew eventually we'd elect a fucking reality star goon to the White House. I did. Time is not kind. Anyway, it's about time, speaking of it, to read your guys' super chats and Streamlabs. So we'll start with the Streamlabs, because that's good. And assistant, if you could turn off that other camera to preserve the battery. I won't be using that one any longer. Thank you. So let's see. Today is the 17th, so let's see how far back these 17th ones go. Okay. So our first Streamlab, and yeah, you guys can keep them coming in. I'll be here as long as you guys keep fucking doning. Doning? That's not a word. I'm a fucking retard. Don't give me any money. Spend your money elsewhere. I am not deserving. No, actually, yeah, please give me your money. So we'll start with Tucker White, 94, a frequent donor here on the show. I'm going to maybe move this a little bit this way so that, when the alerts come in, they're not covering up my beautiful visage. All right, enough of my blathering. Let's get to this. Tucker White 94 says, Red Bull is fucking shampoo tasting garbage. Monster Energy for life. Now you have some money, you fucking scammer. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the money, but fuck you for the incorrect assertion that Monster Energy drink is worthy of praise on any level. It's fucking gross. Michael Nowak gave $1, said plans for Douchebag Bible or 12 Rules for Chaos to ever be available as an audiobook. Well, I mean, I'm already releasing my current book as an audiobook chapter by chapter as I write it, which turned out to be a really bad idea because I don't think a chapter has actually come out in a year, but that is still happening. So, as for an audiobook version of Douchebag Bible, I go, maybe. Yeah, why not? Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. It's to be some quick way to fucking generate some revenue. So, I guess if there's demand for it, let me know. Draw yourself with a banana in your pooper. There's photos of that. Like, why do you need a fucking drawing? You can go look at the real fucking thing. That's from Mel, who donated $6.66. Uncle Happy Thoughts gave $6.66. Is the reason you never talk about DP because you are mad at Ben for continuing it, even after you said that would be a shitty thing to do? No, not at all. The reason he is still doing it is because we came to an agreement. We can't talk about that agreement for legal reasons, but an agreement was reached. So I'm not mad at all about it. I don't talk about that show because I'm not on that show. I'm here to promote the shows that I'm on. Promoting that show is someone else's business at this point. DHS gave an astonishingly generous $30 and said, have you ever considered reprinting some of your old shirts, particularly the snake design? I don't have the master files of that any longer, and actually there was kind of a dispute with the artist of that shirt, so I don't think you're going to be seeing that anytime soon. Pussy Master says, when will you be doing more SJW stuff? Your current political videos are fine, but I want some comedy every once in a while. You don't think the current state of American politics is funny? I fucking do. SJW stuff, I don't know. I think that's been so hijacked by right-wingers at this point. Actually, you should probably just go watch my discussion with Vosh, because I was on his channel talking about this very subject like a few days ago. And I think we get into why I don't fucking really do that anymore. Although I do still have my problems with SJWs, so maybe I still do it. But if I do, it's going to be have to have a lot more nuance attached to it, which kind of kills the comedic angle if you think about it. Benjamin Gilkinson says, hey, TJ, been a fan for years. 2 quick questions. Why did you, Paul, and Scotty leave DP, and would you guys ever host a rematch debate between Kyle Kalinske and Laserfish on DFF? I don't think Razorfish would ever agree to do a repeat of that debate. Maybe he would. I don't know. But if he does, that's for him and Kyle to figure out between themselves. You should probably ask them about it. As for why we left DP, I mean, if I was going to answer that question, I would have already answered it by now. I mean, I think that what it really boils down to at the end of the day, and I know no one ever believes this fucking answer, but I mean, the most pressing concern really is like creative fucking differences. There was very different visions of where the show should be going, and they were just fucking irreconcilable. Beyond that, whatever. It's fucking like 2.5 years past at this point. Like, who cares? I got a new show we've been doing for fucking 2+ years. I'm fucking invested in that. I don't give a fuck about, DP at this point. Let's see. Where were we? Tucker White 94, again with $2. Our options are either a doddering old corporatist Democrat or a doddering old corporatist Republican. How fucking rich must I be to escape this moronic simulation? Richer than you are. I don't know what the exact number is. If I ever get to it, I'll let you know. Ben Riley says, the Supreme Court would be better if Biden and the Dems didn't vote with Trump so frequently. Biden voted for Scalia and Bill did the Telecommunications Act. Well, that's exactly why it's like, is this a real alternative? Is this a fucking genuine political alternative to what I'm getting on the Republican side of the aisle, or is this just Republican light? Because it kind of feels like Republican light. Favor Daxi? Maybe I favored Axe. Okay, I see what I was fucking up because the British spelling of favored. My mind, whatever. Favored Axe 703. Joe Biden might vote for the Iraq war again because of how bad his dementia is. Well, I couldn't even read favored Axe because there was a U in it, so I guess I can't really talk too much shit right now. Hunter S. Bunsen gave $6.66, said, all 3 of you have honestly been a significant part of helping me keep what sanity I feel I have left during these pandemic times. Fuck, I've been watching you for what feels like a decade at least. Thanks for being a part of the ride that is my life. Well, thank you for tuning in and allowing me to be that voice. Tucker White 94, once again, $5, says, moral of the story, abandon hope. Yeah, by the way, Abandon Hope is a show that I do frequently on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. That link is down below. A lot of good, cool perks. You can read up all about it on the Patreon page itself, so I won't give too much of a sales pitch here, but it's worth checking out if you want to support the content of this channel and Deep Fat Fried as well, which is the podcast I do with Scotty and Paul. COVID is cool. Ooh, that's pretty edgy. Gave $6.66, says the third option is to wait a decade or so when the boomers die out, and then there will be much less right-wing voters, and you'll be able to win every year. I don't know if that's true or not, but we still have to do something in the meantime. We can always, continue doing something in those 10 years rather than just being like, well, now to wait for the boomers to die. Should be any minute now. I think we could do a little bit. We can be a little bit more proactive in the meantime. My eyes, they burn. Hey, TJ, why do you regret your LASIK? Would you normally recommend it? I regret it because I liked my glasses. And, I still feel kind of like I miss them on my face. I miss the ritual of putting them on in the morning. I miss the ritual of taking them off and cleaning them with my shirt 20,000 times a day because they get dirty so fucking quick. I miss them. I just miss the glasses. I miss the aesthetic. I miss the way I looked with glasses. So I miss glasses. And you could say like, oh, well, you could still wear glasses or whatever. But it's not the same. Alex Shepard gave $7.50 as a PhD student in Islamic studies. What frustrates me the most is the wall between the media, academia. JSTOR and every academic journal should be available for free access to everyone, the same as publicly funded libraries. Yeah, of course, especially when you consider how much tax dollars go to subsidizing, universities. It doesn't make sense that there is a paywall between us and that research. Because it's funded by the public to an extent, and it obviously serves the public good to have that information be available to everyone. Merlin Bundo gave us $6.66, asks, have you ever watched Climax by Jasper No? Would love to read a letterbox review for it. It's a psychological horror movie from 2018 based on a dance troupe that gets spiked with acid at a party. I couldn't stop thinking about it for weeks afterwards. No, I've not seen that, nor have I heard of it. I have heard of the director. I tried to watch one of his movies once. I can't remember which. I didn't care for that, but maybe I'll check that out. Bite-sized crayons, which I normally would like to say crayons, but I don't want you to make fun of me, gave $6.66, says, would it be better to vote for the other Biden or Mega Man? Because, blue no matter who. Mega Man's got my vote. The minute Mega Man is in the fucking election, I don't even care what his policies are, Controde gave $5. He says, going back to that Nazi punch gif, really? Fascism, a form of authoritarianism, is free speech now? I think it always has been. Like, freedom of speech, to me, it means the freedom to say or advocate for whatever the fuck you want without being interfered with by the government, for one. But I go a step further and say you shouldn't be interfered with by other people, at least not in a way of like physical threats or violence. Corn Pop 69 gave $6.66. He says, I think we should throw milkshakes at Nazis again instead of punching them. It's funnier and it makes them look more pathetic. The milkshake, maybe that's a little more acceptable. But, some of those Nazis might be lactose intolerant, dude. So, you got to be careful. Bry Guy James, an astonishingly, wonderfully generous $50. TJ, been watching for a dozen years. You've grown a lot, man. Congrats to you. You have some genuine confidence in broadcast, and while cynical and sarcastic, still seem to give an actual damn about improving the world. Hope your country gets better, lol. So I should make it pretty clear that I am pretty divested with this world and everything in it, to the point of like, I'm, in my personal life, I'm just, like, if the world's on fire, I'm just like, all right, where's the fucking, stick and the marshmallows so I can roast some. But I guess on some deeper level, I guess I maybe care. But, at the same time, I do feel like I need to put some sort of positive fucking ideas into the world and maybe try, even though I don't think that ultimately I can make a difference, I'm still going to give it a shot, because why the fuck not? I'd rather try and fail than fail to try. Alan Rays gave $6.66, says, Oxhorn squealed like a bat and Shaniqua Lust punched deep into his anal hole and splashed the whipped cream everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I'm chubbed up. I feel like that was probably the most erotic sentence I've ever read. So congratulations to you, sir. You get like a few more of those in a row, you got yourself a fucking a book. A real legit book. Are you and Scotty ever going to bring back the Dear TJ show you did in 2008? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows what the future may hold? All right. We're going to move on to the super chats. So let's see where those begin. Boo, there's a lot. Okay. All right, here we go. So looks like they begin here. Pickle Alistair gave a pound. Thank you for that pound, sir. Cultic Horse gave $1. Thank you for that $1. J-Stock gave $10 and said, liberty is in the DNA of all Americans. Ski-Z. Okay, cool. Good to know. Excuse me. Michael Reed gave $2 Australian. Said, pizza time. All right. I don't have any pizza, but I do have some lasagna that I plan on eating. Gabriel MG gave $5 Canadian and said, what are your thoughts on AOC? Many think she is taking the party too far left and is not particularly bright. I don't have either of those issues with her. As far as her not being bright, she's made some mistakes. She definitely, look, she's not a polished politician like a lot of these other people. I think that she does need to maybe learn her stuff a little better, but I don't think that she's never shown me that she's overall stupid. She's made some mistakes. She said a few things that didn't really make sense, but they think they were all understandable. And if most of like what any of us were saying politically was being scrutinized to the level and extent that her speeches and, ideas and stuff are, but she puts herself out there. She does live streams like this. I think that's pretty ballsy for a fucking politician. I don't see many politicians have the balls to do that. I think you'd see that a lot of the political figures that you think are maybe bright people are not so bright when you're exposed to them to that level or that extent. But I think she's a reasonably intelligent person, and I do not think she's too far to the left. But I do think she could use a little bit more polish, and she should work on it. I don't really understand. Oh, sorry. This is Mr. Stealthy Ninja for $5. He says, I don't really understand why people are freaking out about the stay-at-home order, saying that their liberty is better than the safety of the masses. I don't really see, like, this. We're not talking about, like, stay at home forever or something. This is like there's a global pandemic and a highly transmittable virus that kills 2 to 3% of the people that get it. So maybe we should stay home for a while. Sounds perfectly goddamn reasonable to me. Devora gave $19.99. Thank you for that generous donation. Keep it up, TJ. Nice listening to something that's not about COVID-19. Well, some of it was, but yeah, I agree. Thank you. Leo Moretti gave $4.99. Thank you very much. Andrew DiGiorno, or I'm sorry, DiGugino. I think it's DiGiorno. Give me some pizza, man. So gave me $5. He said, TJ 2024, who would your running mate be? I don't want to run. I'm not a politician. All right. I'm more of an observer and a commentator. That guy gave $6.66, says Vosh is choosing the third option, the middle way, nothing. I don't really see that personally. I think you can feel free to disagree with what he said, but Poseidus John gave $2, says Vosh is down to debate/talk with Kyle. I think they should. I really do. I think that, look, you have two respected voices in sort of the leftist sphere of YouTube who obviously have strong disagreements on this issue. I think that they should get together and try to resolve that and try to feel each other out and figure out why, where the disparity comes from. Leo D gave $5. He said, TJ, will there be another DFF meetup when this Corona stuff ends? I love it when you do the Southern accent, by the way. Well, yeah, man, we probably around the time this here damn old fucking stupid ass fucking, bullshit, fucking liberal fucking conspiracy coronavirus bullshit, once that's fucking done and over with, and finally Donald Trump fucking kills all the coronavirus with his magical fucking MAGA powers and shit, then we probably gonna do a couple more of them DFF meetups, probably, man. I think we gonna do it. I don't see why we wouldn't, man, because, they're fun and shit, and I like fucking meeting with people and fucking them plying me with liquor and me getting all fucking drunk and stupid and shit, making a goddamn old fool of myself. So, yeah, man, we're probably going to do a couple more of them DFF meetups, probably, man, once this fucking stupid old fucking coronavirus fucking lie spread by the damn old liberal fucking lying-ass media is fucking done and over with, man. DFF meetups for life. We should probably do one even now, even in the coronavirus. No, we're not going to do that. But yeah, we're going to do some more, I'm sure. Greed Fatigue gave $5 and said climate change is moving much faster than the public's willingness to change. It's all over. I do fear you may be right, sir. Wendy gave $4.99, says Biden has fallen and he can't get up. Oh, man. How does he keep falling upwards is what I want to know. Anthony Haddad gave $5, says watch you for 10 years. What's your stance on marijuana? Well, you haven't been watching very closely. You want to know my stance on marijuana? Here, I'll show you my stance on marijuana by using this prop that I have. This is actually tobacco, but you can imagine that it's marijuana. Yeah, you can pretend that was weed just now. I mean, it was tobacco, and I'm being serious. It really is tobacco. 100% honest with you guys. Anyway, Dennis Trinka gave $4.99, says longtime fan. Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for doing what you do, Dennis Trinka, you fucking lovely son of a bitch. Bertrand Kurt Russell, one of the best fucking screen names I've seen on here, by the way. $5 says my top three were Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, and Bernie, but I would sooner vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden. He's better on war and trade, etc. I don't really know there's any difference between them on war. I'm not really sure about what the differences would be with them on trade. I'd have to really kind of do a deep dive into that. But I think the main things you're going to hear people argue for Biden for in terms of being better than Trump is that he's going to appoint better Supreme Court justices. Trump stacking the court obviously poses a threat to Roe v. Wade. It poses a threat to the rights of certain marginalized groups and shit. So then of course there's the climate change thing, which Trump does not take seriously, and Biden perhaps takes a little bit more seriously. He'd probably at least get back in the Paris Climate Accords, which are I wouldn't even call them a half measure, but there's something compared to what's going on right now, which is basically laissez-faire pollution. So I think there is some reasons to kind of look at Biden a little bit more favorably. How does Trump? I'm sorry. This is Ian McCater. $5 says, how does Trump get conservative Christians to back him even though he has no morals? I mean, I think we all know those people are hypocrites, right? Fezer Rezer gave £10, says, do you think Bernie or the progressive movement would take action against Hillary being Biden's running mate? No, I don't think they would at all. I mean, the progressive movement, yeah. Bernie Sanders himself, no. He'd just be like, oh, good. Good job. Victoria Cooper, Canadian $5. Take my Monopoly money. Okay, I will. What color is the $5 bill in Canada? Is it like magenta or some shit? Beetle Greg, 07, gave £2, says, TJ, who's your favorite Beatle? John Lennon, my friend. And yeah, I know he did some fucked up shit in his personal life. I don't give a fuck. He's dead now. You don't need to hold him morally accountable at this point. Kurt Hobbs, $4.99, says, what would you think if Biden asked Bernie to be his running mate? That's not going to happen. I guess if it did happen, I would feel patronized by it because VP is basically a symbolic position. Although maybe in Biden's case it's not, because he seems like he's maybe not going to finish a term. Bernie Sanders himself, wow, gave me $1.99 and says, torch the Democratic Party. Wow, that doesn't sound like you, Bernie. That's the kind of Bernie. That's my fantasy Bernie Sanders giving me money there. Adam St. Martin gave $6.66, says, yo, Tej, dis, yo, best look, in my opinion. Beard is on point. Oh, thank you. So kind of you to say. Yeah, I feel pretty happy with it. I wish it was a little bit fuller down here at the bottom periphery, but, pretty happy with it. So thank you very much for that kind and generous compliment. Let's see. I lost my place here. Okay, here we go. Daniel Kale gave $4.99. He says, do you think the Democrats will win back the Senate as the media says? And for the House, do you think they will keep their majority, gain, or lose it? I don't know. It's a little bit early to call that. Ask me that again in a few months. Coffee Crow gave $5. He said, if there's one thing I realized this year, as correct as Bernie is on a lot of issues, he's soft, and it only got worse this time around. Yeah, I mean, well, Look, if you want to hear about Bernie's softness, some of my previous streams really do a deep dive into that. I think I talked about it most in my last stream, which was Burn Out, I believe it was called. So check that one out, and you can definitely hear me rant and rave about how Bernie's was a little bit weak. Riley Treadway gave $1.99. Says, bring back Amish TJ. No, thank you. Doug Rubio gave $1.99. He said, glad to see you change your non-voting views. Yeah, I didn't, I think maybe I'm a little bit more hopeful for the future for whatever reason, despite the fact that the world keeps getting worse. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I'll try. Wiley gave $2 and said, poopy disease. Good. Yeah, poopy disease. That makes sense. Kira Dalton gave $10, says, when you go over to someone's house and they have a banner for the former Soviet Union on the wall, that's a big red flag. Haha, get it? Lol. Love you, daddy. Thank you. Chelsea's probably going to come smack you for calling me daddy, but yeah, that's a pretty funny joke. I get it. Bill Opans gave $9.99, says, do you like SSBBWs? What is SS? Is that Nazi big beautiful women? What's the fuck's going on? I know BBW stands for big beautiful woman, which yeah, I'm down with that. I don't know what SS stands for, so I'm not gonna answer that one way or the other because I'm ignorant. Super Sably? I don't know how that's pronounced. $5 says, am I dumb or did TJ at some point go from don't vote because it doesn't work to vote for literally everything? Lol, not criticizing, just chuckling. Yeah, I mean, I had a change of heart on the voting thing. I just feel like, like you have to take something, like it's pretty much, I've seen too many people who suck get voted into office at this point where I'm just like, all right, maybe I should be fucking voting. And I guess that as you get older, like it's a lot easier when you're younger, I think, to be like, fuck voting, it's all a lie. But, then when you get your ass handed to you by old people like 50,000 times in a row, you're like, God damn, maybe these motherfuckers know something I don't. They certainly handed us our ass this time. The old people showed up in droves to come vote for fucking Biden. The young people who were supposed to be Bernie's like ticket in didn't show up as usual. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep encouraging those motherfuckers to go vote because we just keep getting our asses handed to us by the fucking geriatrics. Gareth Green gave $1.99, says, I agree with this, except I'm right libertarian. Well, look, we agree on libertarian. We don't agree on right. But hey, that's more than I agree with I agree with a right libertarian more than I agree with a right authoritarian. I agree with a right libertarian more than I agree with a left authoritarian, I guess. I don't know that one. Maybe that's a wash, but I definitely better than a right authoritarian. So good for us. We have some cross section there. Wiley gave $6.66. Once again, wanted to let me know poopy disease. Thank you. Very good to know. I got it the first time. But, I'm glad that you felt the need to say it again for more money. Bulkier Writer 1 gave $1.99. Can you tell us why Nancy is bad? She doesn't support a progressive agenda. And she's in the pockets of corporate interests, just like most of the Democratic Party is. Bulkier Writer number 1, once again, gave $4.99. Says Kyle Kalinske will not be impacted as badly as POC, poor people and immigrants. Kyle is middle class and white. He can afford Bernie or bust. We can't. First of all, I've seen plenty of people who are people of color and trans people and so on and so forth who have taken the Bernie or bust argument. I don't think you can simply dismiss someone's point of view because of their race or their living conditions or whatever. I think you have to actually make an argument. But thank you for the money. Hee-haw, $2 says, I got $9 in my account, but whatevs. No, don't do that. If you only got $9 in your account, don't give me $2, all right? Just don't do it. I'm going to be fine. Cold War 45 gave $4.99. I'm not a big TYT fan these days, but they still have their own journalists these days in addition to their commentators. I agree that TYT has done the most to build up a network. I think that some of the other people need to take that page out of their book, but maybe go a little bit different with it. Bulkier Writer number 1, once again, very generous with these ongoing donations, $1.99. SCOTUS nominee, Biden better than Trump. I think we agree on that. Liquid's back, gave $5. He says, I think the left needs to consolidate its beliefs more. We are a glass canyon, powerful but easy to break apart. It is easy for others to divide and rule. I think that when it comes to the left, I think that the ideological diversity that presents itself is a weakness and a strength. I think it's a strength in the sense that we're always reaching for new ideas. It's a weakness in the sense that it, kind of prevents the sort of unity that you get to have on the right wing, where everyone basically just says the exact same things and has the exact same opinions and parrot the exact same talking points. There's more independent thinkers on the left. I'm not saying there's no independent thinkers on the right. Of course there are, but it seems like it's more prevalent on our side. But the cost of that is that we don't have as much uniformity. It's not as collectivistic, despite the reputation the left has for collectivism. So it's a give and take. Barrett Privateer gave $1.49 twice in a row, and that's Canadian. Cold War 45 gave $4.99. Says, do you think an alliance between left-wing new media and right-wing new media against old left and right new media would be a good idea or nah? I think if you could. I think it would be. Honestly, that. Okay, so there's like a hierarchy here. I would prefer the left-wing new media kind of be its own thing and let the right-wing new media, do its own thing. But at the same time, I would prefer them joining forces to promote both of them over the old media than I would none of them doing anything. But I think, honestly, I think we'd be better off I don't want to say we. I'm not part of this. I don't really consider myself part of that new media in the same way like a Kyle Kalinske or something is. But I think people like that should be, maybe joining forces and, creating a coalition, even if it's very loosely affiliated, and working on promoting themselves. And I already laid out this whole thing, but, I don't necessarily think you want to also be promoting a bunch of right-wing figures at the same time. It kind of is contrary to your message. Cookie gave $1.99, said replace her with Warren Lando Snakes. Lando Snakes, I gotcha. That was during the butter segment, obviously. Barrett Privateer gave $1.49 Canadian yet again. Graffles gave $2. Says it's Biden time, baby. Belial de la Vinci says, thank you for the Order of Chaos update. Really looking forward to that. I'm a guy who messaged you on Twitter about that. Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah, I'm still working on it. Slow going, but man, there's a lot of donations tonight. Jesus Barbie Come Candy gave £2 and says, why did you and Ginger girlfriend with no eyebrow break up? That was my wife, first of all, not my girlfriend, and we broke up. It's complicated, all right? I'm not going to get into the whole story of my breakup for £2 fucking pounds. Metafix, $5. I drifted away from your channel for a few years, but I'm glad I'm back. 2020 TJ is the coolest TJ. Oh, thank you. Ian Jones gave $5 Canadian, says, going back to that Nazi punching gif, really a form of authoritarianism and free speech now? I already answered that one. I must have submitted it twice, maybe on accident. But, my comments are the same as before. John Byrne gave 10. I don't even know what currency that is. Euros, maybe? Would you prefer a parliamentary system to the U.S. presidential one? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to really fucking look into that. I do like that the president has to go defend their positions, the prime minister anyway, has to go defend their positions on the floor of the whatever the fuck it is, parliament, I guess. So I think we should do that. That might be fun. To have like Trump go get fucking interrogated by the Senate every week or whatever, however often it happens. Maximum Fuzz, $6.90. What are the odds Biden will drop out and endorse Biden in his confusion? Higher than I'd like them to be. Probably 1 and 2. Sam Reagan gave $5. Said, can't fucking talk anymore. Will there ever come a time that you, Paul, and Scotty become one-time guests on DP? That would be cool. No, there will never come a time. RJRS gave $1.99, says voting Trump because he's hotter. Makes me hot. Oh, wow. Yeah, so hot. Man, that fucking bloated orange corpse of a man is fucking just getting me fucking, it's a gusher. This is this? Gave $5 and said, between Trump and QAnon, the two of them seem to get a lot of innocent bystanders killed. I don't really know what that means. Cold War 45 gave $4.99. Are you guys still on good terms with Billy the Fridge? Last I checked, hopefully. Colin Thome, or is it Thommy? Tommy? Is that a weird spelling? I don't know. Colin Thome. I'm going with Thome. Colin Thome gave $4.99 and said, TJ, have you started playing Disco Elysium yet? No, I'm sorry. I haven't. I downloaded it like more than a week ago. I still haven't played it. YVMZ gave $5, says, would you join Kyle and the other YouTubers in the loose coalition? No, I don't think so. I don't really think that my content is the same as what I'm talking about there. So hold on, I got a bunch more to go through here. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to wrap up this batch of super chats, so try not to do any more super chats because they're probably not going to get read after this point. Motherfucker, where was I? Where did I leave off? Okay, here we go. Cold War 45, give it 1999, says, disagree heavily about the wait 10 years till boomers die comment. When boomers were young, they were liberal. People tend to get more conservative as they get older, so it would just be new old people voting right-wing. Very good point. Maximum Fuzz gave $6.90 Canadian. Do you think these trying times are disproving accelerationism, or do you think things have to get even worse? I think that when, you really put America up against... between a wall, a fucking wall and a hard place, we're going to go to one extreme or the other. And I think it's kind of unpredictable what extreme we go to. So that's why that's my big problem with accelerationism, I guess. Landon Gossett gave $25. Thank you kindly. Can we see your feet? I mean, for $25, you can get some fucking feet. Show them what? No, they don't get fucking naked feet for that price. They can get socked feet. That's what you get. You have to add that to your spank bank. Blue, 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 blue. Andrew DiGiorno, please go to Bill Gated Instagram. I mean, you probably meant Bill Gates Instagram, and read the comments on his most recent photo. The scary conspiracy theorists would be great content for you. Yeah, maybe I'll check that out. Elephant in the Room. $5. Call me a whore so I can go to sleep. Okay, Elephant in the Room, you're a fucking whore. Now go to sleep. Platinum Point. Plantanium, what the fuck? $2. Do you plan on doing a DFF meetup at Hawaii? Sure, why not? I don't know. Well, I don't know if we got enough viewers there. We'll see. Ian Jones, $5 Canadian. John Lennon was a boomer. Is he a right-winger now? No, he died, but he fucking wisely died before he could become a right-winger. Ugly Pyro, $2. No comment. Rollin, $2. Do you think Bernie sold out to Dementia Joe? I mean, Bernie, we went to this with eyes wide open. Bernie told us from the start, whoever the Democratic nominee is, they're getting his endorsement. So we knew it from the start. He never fucking led us astray. He never fucking told us he wasn't going to do that. So I don't see how it's a betrayal or whatever, or a selling out. Because we right from the start, he told us that. Darth Vadant, $5. TJ, how do I regain the motivation I had prior to the 2016 election? I can't seem to overcome the disillusionment I've had since Trump won. I don't know. I mean, like, you can't let a single setback totally shut you down. I mean, you got to keep going. I don't know. It's you got to fucking keep going. I mean, it's just like how it is. What are you going to do? Just like mope around for the rest of your fucking natural life because Trump won a fucking election? I mean, life goes on. Lee has leeway, gave $2. Thanks, individual, for the entertainment situations. You're welcome. Ramiel, $5. TJ, have you ever watched the Isaac Arthur show? I think you are the corrupted and mundane version of him, but in a good way. Doesn't sound good, but I don't know what that show is. So, Theological Ape gave $1.99. Jim Cornette could be a powerful voice on the left, maybe. Alan Fallenex, I don't know. Gave $4.99. TJ, 2 people at my job are infected. Am I going to make it? Yeah, just be careful. Twining Penguin 0 gave $9.99. Says, don't really know what to say or ask. Take my money. All right, I will. Indy gave $1.99. If you did a Twitch stream, what would you play? I don't know. Maybe I'd play that Disco Elysium game that I keep meaning to fucking give a shot. Field Clock 777 gave $4.99. Says, here is some money. Thank you very much, Field Clock. Rick Nick gave $2. Says, best Adam Sandler movie. Apu Nahasa Pima Petalon gave $7.99 Australian. He says, TJ, did you see the video of Bill Maher condemning Bernie and other Democrats for not taking PAC money? Can't wait to see him support Biden. Yeah, that was a really stupid video. But, Bill Maher's takes have been almost universally shit for, I don't know, pretty much since Trump got elected, honestly. I think he's one of the worst cases of the Trump derangement syndrome that has turned formerly reasonable-ish people into just drooling morons. Sam Wetherington gave $10 as longtime fan here. How is it going, TJ? It's going pretty great, especially with all these generous donations coming in. Maximum Fuzz gave $6.90 Canadian. Says, embrace democracy or you will be eradicated. Democracy is truth. Communism is death. Democracy will never be defeated. What if people in the democracy vote for communism? Is that what, I mean, like, what, right? So kind of a self-defeating prophecy there, right? The Logical Ape gave $1.99. Says, the left needs to look mainstream without being so. Thomas, I think the left just needs to change what the mainstream is. Thomas Muldorf gave $5. He says, do you think the social democracy movement will be able to find someone other than Bernie next presidential cycle? Yeah. Bernie's not the only game in town. Bulkier Writer 1 gave $1.99. Says, vote Biden, protest from day one. Okay. Rollin gave $2. Says, thanks for all the entertaining, TJ. You're welcome. Kira Dalton says, SS supersized. Also, Chelsea is my mommy. Okay. I don't know if she knows that she's your mommy, but I don't know if she's down to be your mommy. You might want to fucking ask her permission. Ryan Lee gave $2. Says, stay golden, pony boy, which I believe is a reference to that book. Is it called The Outsiders? I think it's called The Outsiders. Brennan Goulbu. Wow, that's a French name. Brennan something gave $2. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for my butchering of your name. Sam I Am gave $5 and says, thoughts on Steve Cash talking cat suicide? I don't know. I've never heard of that guy. Jonathan Reddy, $6.66. What is your opinion of the Disney Star Wars spinoffs, Rogue One and Solo? I did not see Solo. I refused to see Solo. Rogue One I did not care for. Kira Dalton gave $5. Says, having sex in an elevator is wrong on so many levels. Lol, get it. Levels. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, I get it. Good job. Now let's round out. Let's wrap up with looking at the last few of these Streamlab donations that came in since the last time. I think there's only been a handful. Skeptical Jesus, $3, just donating to keep the show going forever. Well, it's not going to go forever. I'm going to fucking wrap it up in a minute here. Renzo's 315 says gave $6.66. Don't you feel at time like you're surrounded by a bunch of retarded monkeys? No, I feel like that would be more entertaining. Tucker White 94 gave $2 and just wrote a string of fucking gibberish. I think he's getting bored. Alan Reyes gave $6.66. He said Oxhorn begged to come as Shaniqua Lust spanked his fat ass with a pink spiked police baton. She then replied, shut yo ass up. Very erotic, sir. Yeah, man, this whole drama between Oxhorn and Shaniqua Lust, that's hot. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've read some hot shit, but that is next level hot. Alex Shepard gave $3.33. He says, are you and Scotty ever going to bring back... Oh, I already answered that one. The Dear TJ thing. So that wraps it up. I guess we got one more coming in here. I'll just read it since it's on the screen. Which is more likely, the formation of a progressive third party or a takeover of the Democratic Party by populist leftists? I tend to think the second of those is the more likely. because the infrastructure is there. We already have seen with the success of the Tea Party movement that it is possible to hijack one of these two main parties and their agenda. Look, we have it set up. It's set up right now where it's a two-party system, and third parties are kind of not invited to the party, so to speak. So if you really want to see actual change happen, you've got to take over the Democratic Party. There's just no other way to do it. Now, an insurgent, I'm not going to say 100% that an insurgent fucking third party is impossible, but there's so many institutional barriers to it at this point that it's fucking practically impossible. So really, you got to take over the Democratic Party. I do think, however, that once you've done that, you should try to open up some lanes for some other parties to exist. I think we would have a far more robust democracy if people actually had a few more choices. Now, I think that there comes a point where there's maybe too many parties. I don't know what the magic number is, but, you know, there should be a fair representation of every facet of the ideological spectrum. So that would require a real fucking substantive change in the American approach to politics and probably the way we even tabulate voting. You know, so there's lots of discussions we could have there. I don't want to have them right now because I think it's time for me to bid you guys adieu, go smoke a cigarette, go eat some lasagna, go fucking chill. But I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up. It's been fun, and I'm glad that you guys listened to what I had to say and were receptive, and I thank you kindly for all of the sweet, sweet donations that came in, and everybody fucking just, you know, stay safe, stay sane, you know, stay fucking home. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you probably about a week with another one of these. I guess I can read that real quick. Will you start a cooking series now that you no longer eat out? Oh, I still eat out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, maybe, I don't know. I've been toying with the idea, but I'm not sure. I feel like I might have to start a different channel for that. It might just be too far away from what I normally do. But maybe I could put out a pilot episode like cooking with TJ, and we'll see how people react to it. And I don't know. But yeah, it's possible. Anyway, wrapping it up. I'm leaving for real this time. Goodbye. Have a good one. Stay safe. Stay sane. Stay home. Amazing atheist. Peace the fuck out.